Hey everybody, welcome to Maple Masala. Hello and welcome all to the first episode of Maple Masala. Here you will hear stories unfolding from people like you and me who have made the decision to change their lives for the better. We are going to talk about all the experiences that were crucial to go through in order for people to take this decision of leaving their family, their loved ones, and close friends behind in their home country. Of course, everybody has different reasons which relate to their unique paths. Some may have left their home countries because they felt unsafe, or some may have left for better growth opportunities. For me personally, self-growth was the reason. Even though my home country has a lot of potential and great infrastructure, a lot of resources, I still feel like it lacks the appropriate systems, which can cause some people to lag behind. When people ask me, what was your goal behind moving to Canada, or why did you come to Canada? I simply tell them, well, I just wanted to make a life for myself by myself. Now, this does not mean that I didn't have a good life in my home country. I did. And in fact, I'm so thankful. I'm so grateful for my family, my parents, my friends, and all of the people that I know that helped me with this podcast, who were so supportive while I took this initiative, because without them, it wouldn't have been possible. Now, I'm sure that the stories that you'll hear in the upcoming episodes would be something that will resonate with you all. Okay, so a little bit about myself. My name is Shareen. I totally forgot to introduce myself, but I'm sorry. My name is Shareen, and I currently live in Windsor in Ontario. I moved to Canada in 2019 as an international student, and it was just before COVID hit, so I was just in time. So yeah, I had just finished my high school when I decided to move countries for further studies. It's not like I didn't give it much thought. I did, but obviously at the age of 18, there's only so much foresightness that you have, and there's only so much that you can think of, like in terms of consequences of your actions, and how everything is going to be, different, for example, transportation structure, because in my home country it is a lot easier to just go from one place to another. Of course, if your family has cars and other vehicles, and that's great. And also the two-wheelers, the bikes are really common in India. So like almost every household has one. So you can just take that and go wherever you want. Or you could take a taxi. You could take an Uber, which is so cheap as compared to here. It's like if I have to go from point A to point B, it will be like $20 here, but in my home country in India, it would be just $1. So yeah, I definitely didn't think about that, but I was prepared. I was certainly prepared for whatever comes my way. I was determined, and I just had this vision in my mind, that I'm going to do something significant with my life. So yeah, didn't think of all the consequences, and didn't know that I was going to be sharing my room with another stranger. So that was a big surprise. I thought that I would be having my own room just like I did back in India. well, I didn't really have my own room. I had to share it with my brother for a significant amount of time in my life. But yeah, anyways, with little thought in my mind and a heck lot of courage, I decided to pack my 18 years of life into 2 suitcases and boarded the life-changing flight. Now that I look back and think about it, I really do get surprised because people would always ask me, how did you manage, or how did you decide and come to the conclusion about this step? Like, what made you move to Canada at the age of 18? And honestly, I didn't have an answer back then. I was like, sure, I mean, why not? But yeah, when I do look back, I do feel that, yeah, it could have been an impulsive decision. Sort of, but it was worth it. It was definitely worth it. Okay, so yeah, well, profession-wise, my goals always kept changing over the years. So I remember when I was 10, I wanted to be a scientist, and I was so interested in science and how physics works, just because I had watched this show on the TV. What was it called? It was Backyard Science, I believe. They would do all sorts of experiments, and I was like, oh, this makes sense. And then gravity, I read about it, and I was like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Okay, yeah, I'm definitely into physics and stuff. But now that I think about it, I definitely cannot be. I don't want to be a scientist. No, definitely not. No, I mean, hats off to the scientists, but no, it's not for me. And then, yeah, moving forward, I remember when I was 15 or 16, when I wanted to be a lawyer, a judge, to be specific. But yeah, in order to be a judge, you have to have these many years of experience as a lawyer, as an advocate. So yeah, I wanted to study law. All of my family knew about that. Like, they were like, oh, this girl is definitely going to be a lawyer and gonna go into the law stream. And yeah, unlike all the engineers, and because all of my other family members were into like engineering and stuff, and I was like, nope, that's not for me. So stuck to that, and then changed that again. So after that, when I finished my high school, I was like, okay, now what? What do we do? I certainly had this goal in my mind that I wanted to be somebody who can bring change into people's lives. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect and I have all the experiences in the world, but the ones that I do have some, and the ones that I do have, I'm pretty sure that's going to be helpful for a lot of people. And we're going to be having more guests, so more stories to hear and more experiences to gain. And of course, I am super, super grateful for all of the experience that I had, whether it be bad or good. Some friendships I gained, some friendships I lost. They all meant something to me. And not just friendships. I mean, every aspect of my life. So, yeah, all of the experiences. And this is exactly what I want from all the listeners. It is to take away something meaningful from the episodes. Okay, now let's talk about why starting this podcast. What was it meant for? What are we going to talk about in this? Well, in this podcast, we're going to talk about the labors associated with changing countries. What makes people take this huge step? What are the differences and hardships that people come across after taking this step? Struggles related to the journey of exploring a new country and exploring new people, new culture, new tastes, new weather. For me, it was the weather, definitely, because I hated winter in India. And when I came here, I hated it even more. I didn't know I could hate it more. So, yeah, winter, of course, is a big no-no for a lot of people. And I've seen some people get seriously sick, and to the point where they were sent to hospitals. So yeah, but I'm not trying to scare you all. I'm just giving you a real image of what actually happens, the reality, and what people go through that not a lot of people talk about with their families. I want this podcast to resonate with you all, the stories to touch your hearts and make your willpower even stronger. This goes out especially to my fellow immigrants who left their home countries and families, gave up their comfort zones and whatnot to just be here, to build a life for themselves. And just like you guys, I did too. I sacrificed my comfort zone and my family, my friends, especially my grandparents. I love them. Just to be here and just to create a life for myself. Now, with every episode, we're going to give a quote of the day. And yeah, for today, it is going to be... Well, this is a quote from Hindi language, which is my mother tongue. So, the quote is, Lohe ko loha katta hai. Which means, well, the English equivalent to this would be diamond cuts diamond. I don't know. But it means that if you're going through something, you have to beat that with the same feeling. Okay, let me give you an example. I know this sounds really, really confusing, but yeah. Okay, so we're all aware that a large number of people these days go through hypertension, anxiety, and loneliness. Though there's no particular medicine or solution to this problem, one of the things that can be done and is extremely helpful, at least for me, is to feel whatever you're feeling. I know, it sounds crazy. But it does help. Addressing the problem instead of running away from it can significantly reduce anxiety. Now, I've seen a lot of people, especially here in Canada, what they do is they run away from their problems. And well, it's not like I've never done this. I've done this too, but I've seen people do it in different ways. Some people would just burden themselves with work, and I know it's not just in Canada, it's all over the world, but so yeah, they burden themselves with work. They would just put this on their plate and then add that, and you're also doing this and that, and to the point where they just can't hear their own thoughts. Or some people would play the music really loud on their headphones just to avoid their mind talking to them. But it's actually your mind trying to communicate with you, and your mind is trying to seek help, and you're just trying to shut the door on it. That's not a good idea. So, let's say you have some stuff going up in your personal life. It could be a family problem or financial, or somebody said something to you at work or at school, and you're just there thinking, you're just repeating the scenario in your head, and you're just like thinking and thinking and thinking, and then you get tired. You get tired of that, and then you just don't know what to do. And you get so fed up that you just try to distract yourself with something. yeah, like I said, you try to play music too loud, or you try to burden yourself with work, or you shut down, maybe you don't talk to people for I don't know how many days. Um, but all of these things don't really solve the problem because the problem's still there. It's just you running away from it. Now, there are ways to deal with this, but the best one is to let your thoughts sit there. Just let it be there. Don't think about like don't judge yourself. Don't be like, hey, this is coming to my mind again, or like, hey, this is bothering me again. That's okay. Let it bother you. Let it sit there. And then what you're going to do is you're going to cut the diamond with the diamond. I know you're thinking, how is it even possible? Well, what this means is you're going to replace your thought with another thought. You're going to remind your brain that, hey, we are a team. So we're supposed to be working together. It's like they say, it's us against the world. That us should be you and yourself. Yeah, just you and yourself. I mean, it's good that if you have a significant other, but priority should be yourself. Anyways, more into that later. But explaining this, yeah, you should remind yourself that your mind and your body need to work in synchronization. You know, just so that you can function and complete your daily chores. A question that I ask myself during a time like this is, I ask my brain, hey brain, are you working for me or are you against me? Like, are we friends or not? So, what response I get from my brain or my mind is that, yes, I am working for you, and yeah. So see, this is the main part. And then you have to remind your brain, you have to go, okay, well, if you're working for me, you wouldn't say or repeat any scenarios or do anything that would affect my inner peace, that would disturb my balance, that would disrupt my stability. You wouldn't do any of those things to yourself. You won't self-sabotage, is what they say. Yeah, and what I also like to do is I like to get to the root of the problem. I'm the kind of person, okay, so there's two types of people. One who can just let the problem be and just like ignore it for a couple days, let it be there. And the second type is me, who has to find the solution right away. We can't wait. We are not patient at all. I could use some patience, but yeah. Yeah, we're not patient at all, and we just need the solution now. So yeah, and that seems to work for me. So I mean, you can definitely decide. You can pick. Yeah. So let's say I have a problem. And sometimes the problem isn't even in the real world. It's just in my head. And I have to remind myself that, hey, this isn't even real. You just created it and now you're upset. Just with your own creation, you're upset. So yeah, somebody once said your intellect is definitely a sharp knife. I believe it was Sadhguru. Yeah, he said your mind is a really sharp knife. And you should know how to use it, because if you don't, you're gonna cut yourself. I mean, man isn't wrong. So, yeah, the advice may sound something that's almost impossible to do or irrational, but give it a try. I mean, life's short, just, yeah, try it. I'm sure this will be helpful. Okay, To sum up today's episode, I would like to remind my listeners, especially my fellow immigrants who are trying to fit into this new world and are missing home, don't forget to be super grateful for this opportunity that you have, that life has offered you. Because not everyone gets the privilege and the liberty to pick their own paths. So, yeah. Every day, just find maybe just 5 minutes of your day to be thankful and to be grateful. Just say thank you in whatever you believe in. And yeah, it does work wonders. So give it a go. Okay. Well, thank you for listening to today's episode. Please share this if you liked today's episode, and we'll meet in the next one. And sending you a lot of love. Take care.